What's good, YouTube? I am here with the YCS Champion of Minneapolis, and he's coming fresh off a regional top as well, with ABC showing mastery over multiple decks in the format. Marcus Hayden, and co-host is Robbie Cole, M. Cole 40.
I don't know why I'm here, but this guy seems really cool, so I think it's worth doing an interview with him. So,
Thanks, man.
So Marcus, who are you?
Well, my name's Marcus Hayden, obviously. I'm from Chicago, well, just outside Chicago, actually, Joliet, Illinois. I've been playing this game competitively since about 2011, 2012, and I just won YCS Minneapolis.
What's your locals?
The Gaming Goat is what it's called in Joliet.
Oh yeah, there's like 4 gaming goats up there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a bunch. They're in a couple different cities.
Joliet, Mundane, I think, is one. But
yeah,
right.
There's one in Oak Park, one in Naperville.
All right, well, tell us about your local community and how you've grown up to be the wee little duelist that you were to what you are today.
All right. I guess I'll just start way from the beginning when I was a scrub. So me and my family got into the game because I have 4 brothers and a bunch of cousins, and we'd have our own little tournaments together. This back in 2008, 2009, and yeah, we were all garbage. And then in 2011, I moved to Tennessee, and I went to the mall one day and found a card shop there. Because I used to live in Illinois, I moved to Tennessee because my dad's job. But I found a card shop there, and by then all my brothers quit playing and whatnot. And I was there. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. Looking at the game and stuff, and watching these guys play. It's a card shop called Packard's at the time. I think they're CM Games now, near Knoxville. And so I was watching these people play, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to do a tournament. And I got bodied. I was playing Machine Union deck with XYZ and stuff. Kind of funny because I just played ABC.
Oh, things come full circle.
Yeah. So yeah, from there I just got bodied. I'm like, and I'm a really competitive person. I'm like, man, how did I just let these guys destroy me? So I started watching YouTube videos and trying to get better. And it was recently that Billy Brake had topped. I want to say the first YCS he played. I want to say it was Toronto with Plant Synchro. And I tried to mimic that deck, but it was completely budget because I couldn't afford Glow Up Bulb and Tour Guide and stuff. So I had Reborn Tengus and the different plan engine with Titanial Princess and stuff. But it was garbage. But it was that deck I was playing at that time where I topped my first locals, and that feeling of winning was just so great. And from there I just got more competitive. I went to my first YCS in I think 2012 during Insector Wind Up Rabbit Wind Up Dino Rabbit format, and I went 6-1 and then lost back-to-back playing Insectors at the time. And then from there I was like, oh man, it's crazy. I started winning all my locals, and I know that wasn't an accomplishment, but at the time it seemed like it was. So following that, about my freshman year of high school 4 years ago, I moved back to Illinois, and my sophomore year of high school, so 3 years ago, I moved back to Illinois and started playing with the guys here. And at first I'm like, wow, this is a whole different level of competitive. The guys in Chicagoland were far better than a lot of the guys I played with in Tennessee. But then following that, I slowly grew into the niche of playing with those guys, and over time we created a test group. I'd say by my junior year we started a chat called Cancer Chat, which a lot of people probably know of. And we also have test groups that have broken off from that, but there's a lot of good players there, and without them I wouldn't be where I am today. But yeah, and then heading into YCS Mini, I know skipping some more, 2 weeks before YCS Mini, there's a regional in Indianapolis that I top 8'd as well with Metaphos, and that was right before Aaron Furman's UDS build. So I was playing one combination, one counter, one fusion, And after his build, like we were testing with it, we're like, wow, counter is infinitely better. So heading into mini, we did like a ton of testing with the deck. Literally almost my whole test group was playing with the deck, which was bad because like we couldn't test against Blue Eyes or like a lot of the other decks. But so we literally would build fake like proxied out decks just so we could test against those. And at the event, like I just started steamrolling early. I remember being 4-0, and I told my buddy Imran, Faisal Khan's older brother, I was like, I'm gonna win this event, dude. And he's like, I think you are. And like it was almost like half-heartedly said, but I was just so confident. And once I was in top 32, I was thinking to myself like, wow, this could actually happen. And yeah, because this is my second major event top. My first one being top 16 at Nats 2015 with Burning Abyss. But yeah, so at YCS Mini, I won my top 32 match against Marjenko. He was a really awesome dude. Very, very polite. It was a fun match. Then in top 16, I versed Calvin Tahan, and he had a game loss. It was a really dumb reason with his sleeves. But he came to the table. He was still really polite. Like, this is a completely new Calvin Tahan. This guy's really respectful. Afterwards, he congratulated me. He messaged me on Facebook, a long message telling me really kind words, which I really appreciated. And then from there on, after Calvin, I versed two Magi Specters. I forget the top 8 guy's name, but top 4 was against Aaron. And that was like the biggest hurdle, I felt like, because we went to game 3 and my hand was really subpar, but so was his. So I was able to just grind through it. And then in the finals, like I'm like, all right, I made it this far. There's nothing that can stop me now. And it was 2 Chicagoland natives. And by the way, for people who don't know, there's something called the Chicago Curse. And it was where Chicago players who would top a YCS would always take 4th place and not win a prize card. So when we were in the finals, that curse was already broken. And a Chicago player hasn't won a YCS in like God knows how long. Like Matt Kalindo was the closest one I could remember, and he took 2nd at Dallas. So when I won, it was awesome because like not only for myself as a player and like growing, my second major event top, but like for my community, it was awesome.
I mean, Chicago has really good players next to, like Michigan, California, Texas, like
Florida.
Those, like, these are all like the really big places. And it's kind of a shame to see that Chicago hasn't done anything for a while. Because, like good players like Faisal, Yuri, yourself, Tubbs, Zuku. Like, yeah, you guys have good players. It's just interesting to like see that the community just, I guess times have changed, per se.
So something I want to go on to, if I'm not interrupting you, Robbie.
Oh, go on.
So Calvin Tahan's game loss, as you said, was about sleeves. This actually happened to me in 2007 when it was much more lenient, and it's something that all duelists should be aware of. Naturally, when you open a brand new pack of sleeves, some of your sleeves will be a little slimmer or different cut, especially with the Ultra Pro brand. And so when I topped in 07 with Troop Dupe, they pulled me aside and said, "This looks really bad, and we understand that this happens naturally, but your shorter sleeves on your deck are Troop, Dupe, and Ring." And I was like, oh no. And they're like, "We understand. Here's a new pack. Like, go get a new pack of sleeves." And I did, and like, it ended back up on Troop and Dupe again after I opened it. I showed them. I did the new pack of sleeves, everything, and it just happened. And so after I replaced those sleeves, it was actually perfectly fine. But as a duelist, you always want to shuffle your deck and kind of like look at your own deck and tell if you can cut to cards and replace those sleeves if you don't want to end up in that situation. And it's not something you're thinking about. You're more so thinking, I've made top 32 now. I've got to go do this. I'm ready. You've just received your deck. You want to shuffle your deck always. Look at your deck and make sure there's no discernible cards every time.
No, you're 100% correct. Like, I actually, at Minneapolis in the final round, round 10, I was playing against the undefeated, I think his name was Mark, and I had I got a game loss for 2 of my sleeves, or like, it wasn't even messed up. They were slightly less dirty than the rest of my sleeves, and it was Rescue Rabbit and 1 painful decision. And yeah, well, they believed me in that I didn't cheat, but since they're so much more strict, they're like, it like by code we have to give you at least a game loss, and like
Yeah, Mark's actually out of San Antonio. Mr. Maya, he's an up and coming duelist also.
oh yeah. No, he
So
was really polite about everything, like with the game. Like even though I got the game loss, he too owed me because of it. But yeah, it didn't matter because I was X1 in the last round, so I'd rather it happen in round 10 than in like top
Yeah,
32.
definitely.
So, Marcus, a side question from a point you made earlier. Does anyone in your family actually still play the game?
My little brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, is trying to start playing again because, well, after I won the YCS, he's like he wants to get back into it again. But other than that, like not really.
I mean, is there any advice that you've given to him from your journey to where, like, being the filthy casual you were to now, that you would give to, him and new players?
I mean, you just gotta stay persistent, and you gotta want to get better, and you gotta have like a community that wants you to get better as well. Like a lot, I feel bad for a lot of casuals who want to become better players in this game because they'll have good players like refuse to play them because they simply aren't at the level yet. And that was something we discussed at my locals. Like we need to like help casual players become competitive who want to at least by like offering our help and playing them when we can and stuff like that.
I mean, we've all been destroyed.
The barrier to entry is insane when you're talking to players because they feel like typically it's a waste of their time to spend time on these kids and they want to be battle testing themselves instead of raising somebody that's going to be able to back and forth with them later. It's much easier to go, oh, hey, you're good also, and I can learn from you rather than, well, I can teach you and eventually you'll be good enough for me to learn from you back.
Well,
Yeah.
The learning curve is insane now. I mean, Pendulum, like, that wasn't a mechanic for us back in the day. It's already bad enough, like, that people have to know what synchros and XYZs are, but, being a new player, imagine trying to explain to them that you put a card here and a card here and you just poop out your entire hand. Like, the learning curve it's much higher than it once was.
There's
And
a lot more, yeah.
It's bad enough we might be getting a new mechanic next year. Winky face.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Like, it's weird because at the college I go to, they have this Yu-Gi-Oh club, and everyone's like ecstatic that I did so well at Mini, and they're all like, oh, teach me, and like in the back of my mind, like of course I'm like sure, but in the back of my mind I'm like it's gonna be so hard to teach these kids like just the base mechanics of the game from whether it's like chain links or like you said like pendulum summoning. Like it's hard for people who don't play the game on a regular basis to understand that.
And sometimes even you yourself can be wrong. Like, a recent example for me, and this was silly, I thought Cali King would get his effect when you Xyz Universe him, and nobody corrected me for 2 months. So, like, even, like, if you know so much about the game, you can just end up in a situation where you end up teaching somebody something wrong as well, and nobody's going to correct you because you either are who you are, or they just don't understand the situation as well.
It's
Oh,
okay.
you're right.
It's okay. My locals let me play gold and silver gadget as I could activate both effects in the same turn.
Oh my lord.
John, get that antivirus out of here and be gone.
Oh,
That'd
man.
be so busted.
Oh, dude, I know, right? You saw him strike it and imagine being able to float into another gadget. Yeah. It'd be the dream. I don't know if you guys saw the article today on TCG Player about the anti-spell versus the quick play spell card ruling, but that was another thing that someone admitted that they were wrong too, which was really cool. So
Yeah.
it's definitely one of the better things in this game to admit when you're wrong and learn from it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm
We've
pretty.
all had our fair share.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So,
But I think. Oh,
go ahead.
One sec, John. But Marcus, do you agree that one of the major points in this game, though, when you're, growing up and playtesting, that you need to be able to not make excuses for why you lost, and you need to accurately point out why you lost to yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to learn from your losses. Like, I can't stress enough. Like when I started going to locals and stuff, how badly I got beat, and like at first it's like, oh, why I don't understand why these guys are beating me. But when you take the time to like, oh wow, they're just simply playing better cards. They mechanically play better than I do. Like once you recognize your flaws, you can just work on them, and you can become infinitely better that way.
All right, John, ball's in your court.
All right, so let's go back before. So this is not your win is not your first top. So let's get to the point to where you got to your first top. How did you come up from being that scrub in order to get your first top?
It's really hard to like mark that point because like I personally feel like I'm better than I have represented, mostly because I had lacked going to events in high
that's a
school.
bad mentality. You can't do that.
Well,
I do the same thing. No.
I had lacked going to events in high school because, well, like simply like, you know, when you don't have the money nor the transportation to do so. But I've had plenty of top 8s and I've gone to at regionals and I've gone to plenty of regionals and done well, but like I've only been to 4 or 5 5 YCSs, I believe. But for Nats in particular, going into that event, I had played BA since DUEA came out, and when it came out, actually, there's like these TCG player events, and they had this TCG player 10K, and I was playing it then when like Shadal's had like super polys and stuff. So I had been playing the deck for a while, and when Nats rolled around, like I was playing Necros at Columbus before Nationals, the 150th, and I simply just did not know the deck as well as I knew BA. And in testing, I was like playing my friends who played Necros, and I realized I can just outgrind them with trap cards. I understood like the ceiling wasn't as high, but my monsters floated, and I can just beat them with trap cards, which was really weird because I don't think we've had a deck like that in a long time until that point. Where the rest of the meta wasn't trap heavy, and it could compete with those decks.
It also resourced the graveyard harder than almost any deck up to that point in the game.
Oh, completely.
It was the first time you're really playing with a second hand, and your second hand is your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Necros sort of did with like the searching with the
but
and whatnot.
That came right after BA started, so it was kind of the introduction to that phase of the game.
Did someone say ABCs and playing from the graveyard?
That's progression. Dante did it first.
Definitely. But yeah, so at that YCS, I can't really tell you when I stopped being a scrub, like up to that point, but I can tell you like my experience there. Because I went X2 in the event, and then in top 64, I drew back-to-back games. I drew Crush card versus Necros, and just obliterated my opponent. I hit 3 or 4 cards in hand first game, and then second game drew it again, and hit all cards in his hand and a Unicorn on board. So like, top 64 was a complete blowout. Then top 32, I actually had a match streamed. I was versing Shadal's, which is like BA's worst matchup at that time. And the judge actually misruled a ruling. I had Farfooted Shadal core, and they said it would return to board, even though by game mechanic it's supposed to be sent to grave. So I ended up losing game 2, but winning game 3. I only lost game 2 because of that ruling. And then in top 16, I lost to Chicago native Matt Kalinda, which a lot of people know. In time. So yeah, I top 16 Nats 2015, and also I couldn't go to Nats 2016 because of a family emergency. But yeah,
I mean, you got your W this year. That's all that really matters, right?
Yeah. It's still crazy to think about, man. Every time people bring it up.
You got your trophy with you?
Yeah, you want me to grab it?
Yeah, let's see this bad boy.
Oh.
Probably should have had him grab this before we went on stream, but
highly likely, yeah.
Oh man, look at that!
It looks so much nicer than my rusted old metal piece of upper deck crap.
Oh, they used to give you guys metal trophies?
Yeah, it's rusted and the base is splitting open, and it's the worst.
Is that trophy glass or like crystal?
It's actually a plastic, but it's a really hard plastic. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's not glass.
It's like a harder acrylic, I believe.
Does it say Minneapolis on it, or just YCS Champion?
Just 2016 Champion, and then the YCS logo and the Konami logo, and then they're.
You're gonna treasure it forever?
Dude, it's literally like, I've won a lot of trophies and medals in my life from sports and stuff, but this is like in the center of it. This is like such a great accomplishment.
Did you opt to keep the prize card, or did you move it already?
I moved it almost instantly for
I don't blame
retail.
I don't blame you there. Just
I
figured I'd ask.
at my event all the way back in the upper deck days, I literally had my prize card traded before they took the picture and they made me go and get it back. So I understand that.
What else did you get? Don't you get like a laptop or something like that?
I got I got a PS4, but me and Aaron, like, afterwards, 'cause I have two PS4s already. I was like, hey, Aaron, like, the PS4 is worth more. You just want to swap for the Xbox One? Because he just wanted to sell it anyways, I'm pretty sure. And he's like, oh, yeah, definitely. So I just swapped him his Xbox One for my PS4.
I mean, that's pretty good.
And he also gets his flight and hotel, hopefully.
Yep. Oh, yeah, hopefully, unless it ends up being in Chicago.
Man, just they're like, hey, here's your flight itinerary, and you're like, but I drive like 20 minutes.
They fly you into the same airport from the other one. They like have you take a route out from somewhere else.
Oh man, there's like 3 airports in Chicago. That's even worse. Especially dealing with Rosemont.
Yeah, I know. Like, it would be really dumb because I live like 35 minutes out, dude.
Oh man, just hope it's not like anywhere in the Midwest, because it'd be even more of a waste to like fly to like Columbus or something.
Honestly, you know? I wouldn't even mind, like, as long as it's not in Chicago, like, because they're paying for my hotel too. So.
Oh, of course.
All right, what is your it may be this last trip since you won, but out of all of your travels, what was your most fun trip?
Most fun trip.
We'll throw favorite memory of Yu-Gi-Oh in there too.
Honestly, my most memorable trip or my most fun trip?
Both. Let's do both.
All right. So memorable would have to be in 2012 when I went to the YCS in Chicago, actually. That's because, like, this is going to sound really weird, but my best friend that I would always been friends with, I'm surprised I didn't mention this. My best friend I had been friends with since, like, 3rd grade when I lived in Illinois prior to moving to Tennessee. I flew out to Chicago, and when I went to the event, I saw him there, and he was playing in Zectors, and he was playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, what the hell? Like, how is this possible? And yeah, and I just remember seeing him. I hadn't seen him in like 2 years or like a year and a half, and I'm like, oh, like, it was crazy, like, seeing my best friend playing a game I love and also at the event. So that was probably the most, like, memorable. The most fun, I'd have to say, would be at Nashville, the 2015 Nationals.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I stayed in a hotel with all my buddies from Tennessee prior to moving, and yeah, we just, you know, the night before we had a bunch of fun at the hotel. Like, later in that, I think that's after I won my prize card, so that Sunday, Jedlicka, Jordan Palmer, and Alex Medina all came and stayed at our hotel. And we were rolling for $100 bills. I almost rolled my prize card away. I ended up rolling.
Why? Why would you do that?
No. Listen. So I lost like $200 to Jedlicka. I got it down to 100. Like, so I only lost 100, and then I was like, "Yo, dude, just buy this off me for 300." So I basically just sold the prize card for 200.
Why would you? This is why gambling's a terrible addiction.
Dude, Chicago, like, we roll way too much. It's bad.
Yeah, you don't want to do it at a Konami event. That's how Robbie and I were
at hotel.
Yeah. Of course, I'm emphasizing this for the viewers.
I saw 2 people roll in an event and get kicked out.
I was sitting across from Robbie, and so we'll leave this man nameless, but he is 7-0 at Providence. And is supposed to play Patrick Hoban for round 8, and he's rolling dice way back towards the back, and the Konami rep just walks up with 2 cops, and they're out like that. And so Patrick Hoban's sitting there round 8, waiting for someone to show up, and no one shows up, and he gets a free top.
That's the dream, like, just waiting for someone to show up and then not.
Yeah, but the point is, do this do this somewhere else.
Yeah. We did it at the hotel the night after the event. So
if you have an addiction that you wish to fulfill, whatever it may be, do it on your own time. Winky face. I've learned way too much about Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, one of the things that you probably don't hear much about anymore was, like, back in the earlier days, like, the amount of people going around asking for said non-mentionables at events was way too high.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it's definitely cracked down throughout the years, but like in the early 2010s, 2009, during Upper Deck days, things like that, like you wouldn't walk around an event without people being like, "Hey, got this for trade?" Like,
I gotcha.
yeah, but I mean, our community's definitely gotten a lot better about these things. You know, it's just interesting seeing like the progression of our community throughout the years. In terms of things like this, though Michigan, there was that one guy handing out business cards, being like, "Come to my hotel and buy this from me." I don't know if you ever heard about that. Like in
Yeah,
2014.
they're banned.
Yeah, no, I was at Michigan. I had this dude who called himself Shadow Clan handing out mixtapes.
What?
Yeah, me and my buddy walked by, and he's just like, "Yo, dude, take my mixtape," and then like he hands it to me, and I'm like, "I ain't got no money, dude," and then he was like, "Oh, well, it's cool, dude. Just listen to it, all this stuff." I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
Michigan was like, I know a lot of people were like scared of their lives, but like I go to Garden City in Detroit all the time for regionals. Like it's not that bad. I mean, it's only Detroit. It's only like half the city.
Yeah, it's more like outside the city too. Inside the city itself, it wasn't that bad.
Well, I mean, where they usually have the events is like you can in like the furthest convention center, you can see across the river to Canada. So like you're in a pretty good part. It's just when you go like 4 blocks down, I'd be slightly worried.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, I have a pretty good question here. You're competitive in sports, as you mentioned. You have trophies in other sports. This is a 2-part question. Have you taken anything from sports competitions into your Yu-Gi-Oh nature, and vice versa? Have you taken anything from your Yu-Gi-Oh nature back into sports competitions?
I mean, yeah, definitely. It might just be like a personal trait, but just the whole respect thing and how competitive I am definitely came from past coaches and playing football and whatnot when I was younger. Like, I used to be a very, very cocky and arrogant kid until about 8th grade. An event in football happened where I was talking a lot of mad shit, and I got a warning by the ref and got cussed out by my coach. And after that, I'm like, I just changed my attitude. And yeah, so I mean, I guess that has definitely turned into Yu-Gi-Oh! I try to be nice to whoever I play. Like the guy versus the final, Joel White, everyone calls him Bootios. He told me I was the most polite and the most fun to play against, and that was a final match. It was supposed to be serious. People were like, there was so much talking going on in that match, and that never happens in the finals.
Well, I mean that's one of the things that you really get when you get that far in a tournament. For example, like when me and Parker were playing for the 3rd and 4th in Indy, like, I mean, we were being louder than the final match, but like that tends to happen when you're playing against people that like, when you have 2 people in the same region, like you said for Chicago, playing against each other, like you both have that pride, and you're both like happy to be there. So like when you have things like that happen in this game, it's definitely very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Has Yu-Gi-Oh taught you how to bluff in sports?
Bluff in sports.
Like psych out your the other team?
Starting. See, I would say it would had I continued with football, but my sophomore year I started only pole vaulting, and I currently do it in college still. And it's more of a individual sport. I don't really talk or communicate with other pole vaulters that much. So it really can't come up. Maybe like the mental confidence I gain, just because Yu-Gi-Oh is basically an individual thing as well. Like having to psych yourself up before an event or before a match, and just the confidence you have to fill yourself with, because that's half the battle. Like just being confident.
Let the heart of the pole guide you.
All right, John, your second question.
That was the 2-part question. I was asking if he had taken anything back from Yu-Gi-Oh into sports, and then anything from sports into Yu-Gi-Oh.
So what's your Yu-Gi-Oh bag typically like? Do you bring a sandwich from home? Do you bring a water? What is typically in your bag outside? Well, stuff like refreshments and stuff like that.
All right. Well, so like outside of like my deck, mat,
Yeah, like
whatnot.
what do you do to prep for an event? What do you bring?
Well, like I do all my sanitary stuff like beforehand. So in my actual Yuki bag, uh, it's my deck, my calculator, my trade binder. I normally don't even trade at events, but I bring it anyways. Uh, and then like outside of that, it's basically just bottles of water. I'm one of those players who like does the whole starve myself during the tournament. I don't know why. It's like I get so focused in that like I just can't eat. But yeah,
Do you play Yu-Gi-Oh better tired or awake?
definitely awake, but like I refuse to like take energy drinks during big events or anything like that because I'm afraid of like crashing or getting too antsy, and I don't want to give anything away to my opponents. I try to stay like calm psychologically, like because I also have a problem that I always try to fix. Like when I get nervous at all, I'll start to shake, and yeah, I know that's bad. So it might be because I don't eat. I don't know. But yeah, I try to just stay calm. I don't take anything or do anything. I just drink water throughout the day, and that's about it.
Typically, in other formats where like you tend to overthink things, often playing tired's not necessarily a bad thing because you usually just kind of YOLO, and it can pay off in very, very strange ways.
I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely in some formats, like the way I play, I think the way I play is actually far different than a lot of people. Uh, I'm a very logical thinker, so I'm constantly running probability through my head, and based on given situations, I don't just think about my current plays and the possible routes that it can occur. I run numbers in my head. I always ask my opponents normally like how many cards are in their deck, and I think of what they're playing, how I would build it, possibilities of what they could be playing, and I run all the numbers, and that's how I base my strategies off of.
Don't feel bad. My opponent always has the out. I don't know if you ever. I don't know if
Mine
you ever
does.
played. I don't know if you ever played hero format, but I swear to God, every hero player in this planet can top deck Miracle Fusion.
And, I'm pretty sure that was like right before my time.
You're lucky because I don't know how many countless losses. I don't know about you, John, if you ever had that happen to you, where your opponent has one out left in deck, and oh, here's the Miracle Fusion.
Yeah, very, very often that's the case.
It's so sad. Like I will give you this: probability and statistics they're a very key thing to Yu-Gi-Oh. But I swear to God, I always get fucked because my opponent always has the out.
It does come down to the amount of games you're playing and the amount of situations you get into where that will happen to you, though.
Yep.
Oh no, definitely. It's just something I've taken away from this game. It's no matter how good you are, or no matter how good the situation seems, sometimes it just goes sour.
I think the term salty was actually very, very healthy for the community. Like, everybody used to just be mad and angry, but the term salty is almost diffusing. It's like, bro, are you salty? And that's almost like the, no, I'm not salty, bro. But, like, I think it was actually very healthy because it turned a lot of anger away from players in, like, games in general.
It's funny that you say that because like it's actually true, even though like you don't think about it that way.
I mean, our community's definitely matured throughout the years. You know, things are tending to get better.
Like I haven't really noticed because I feel like I haven't even been a part of this community that long, at least in the competitive scene. But like from what John tells me, he's told me a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh history and stuff, so I can see that.
I mean, there used to be a time without Dueling Network. These kids are spoiled these days.
Yeah, the days of the, you had no pictures if you wanted to play online.
What are you talking about? YBD did have pictures. They were in a zip file.
Apprentice was before YBD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going way back.
I don't even know what these websites are.
Well, I can tell you this. Do you know what Duelist Grounds is?
Yep.
One of the main heads of Duelist Grounds was actually one of the people that helped during original translations for the game and helped with Yu-Gi-Oh! Virtual Desktop. It was basically just an application that you would download. You'd update it yourself. You'd have to download another program called Hamachi to connect to your opponents.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that same person right now is helping with the organization. So There's a lot of old people that have a lot of old history in this game that have changed gears and they're still helping out this community because they still love it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still here from way back in the day. Same with John. You know, so it's you say that you don't really feel that you've been a part of this for the history, but as you play this game and you're a part of things for longer, that'll definitely change as you see the people around you grow, leave this game, you know, enter this game.
Oh yeah.
In a sense, you've already become the history. You are one of less than 150 people that have the title, because there's so many multiple-time champions that have 3, 4 wins, 2 wins. You're one of less than 150 people with the title that you have. So you've already become a part of that history. You are cemented in like this place where nobody like can tell you. Think of how many people have actually played in a YCS or Shonen Jump, and you are one of 150 to achieve that title.
It like I said, man, it's crazy every time I think of it. I try not to because I want to keep myself humble.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like just thinking about it, it amazes me still.
What do you say, Billy? Billy had something to say, but now he's saying he has nothing to say.
What?
3 or 4 time champ.
Yeah. Okay. We get it. He was one of my first idols when I came into the game because, like I said, I came when he played his Plant Synchro deck.
You know, this leads to a very good question. My first question is: have you ever read Patrick Hoban's book?
I have not.
All right, next question.
I have not either.
Who do you look up to in this game currently?
Currently?
Don't say Faisal Yuri.
No.
Mecha Faisal.
Man.
No one looks up to Faisal in this community.
Yeah, that's Faisal's brother.
Like it probably sounds cliche, but I look up to anyone that I know who's achieved far more than me, because like my goal is to like become better than they are. So it sounds like corny, like, you know, like Frazier, Pat, Billy, like I don't know, a bunch of people, Jeff, just anyone who's accomplished far more than I have. I want to one day, you know, have my name in that discussion.
You know, like having talked to Frazier on an interview, the way he does his like pregame testing, like I don't know if you know this or not, but when we talked to Frazier, he said he brings a little notebook to locals, writes down notes in it, reviews them before what's it called, an event, because he doesn't really get the chance to play. It's definitely cool seeing like how each person has their own, like, I want to say pregame for an event.
Oh no, I know exactly what you mean. I do something similar sometimes. Like if I don't know what extra deck cards I want to play, like in testing, like me and my testing partners will play like unlimited extra deck, and whatever comes up in a certain scenario, we'll like tally it, and like then we'll look out of, you know, a sample of 50 games how many times X card came up, and like sometimes we'll build our extra deck around it that way. And also, yeah, just intense testing. And also, like, speaking about Frazier, we actually talk about theory a lot, believe it or not. I text him. He was actually wondering when I was starting the stream, and I texted him.
Good old Frazier.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have people that you would perceive, like, even if you perceive them above you or on your level, that's the way that you get the most, because if you perceive somebody above you, you really do, like, kind of listen to them more and take more in. But on your level's the ultimate goal, because, like, you want to have that discussion where there's mutual respect and you're both understanding what each other are saying. So I feel like you will find the place where you're okay with your confidence, but still humbled by, like, what you're doing.
Oh, definitely.
What'd you say, Billy? Nothing again, huh?
What'd he say? What'd he say? Speak up.
He just he's talking from the living room and he says something while my headphones are on and I can't hear. He said, no, they couldn't hear you. He said, good.
Hey, John.
Is he talking shit?
Oh, hold on, Marcus, I got you. Hey, John.
Yeah, what's up?
Just look at Billy and be like, gadgets.
Robbie says gadgets, Billy.
Yeah, they're good again. They're good in the first time.
He's still rambling. I love Billy to death. Yo, Marcus. Yeah,
What's up?
I know you. I know you were probably. Did you have the thing of like were you starstruck with like the people you were playing at YCS Mini?
At Mini, not so much, because I've played prior to that a fair amount of good players. Literally the regional before, my only loss was to Jeff Jones. And anytime I play someone, whether they're on my level or better than me, or even if they're below me and like I think I could learn something from them, I definitely start asking questions. So yeah, I wasn't so much starstruck, but I mean it's definitely an honor to play those people regardless.
Speaking of an honor, Faisal Khan just messaged me saying, "I see you picking on me, LMAO."
Oh man.
One of the cool things about competitive play though, once you're super far in an event, it's kind of cool how they like give you a bodyguard though.
Oh yeah, no, that it's weird. Like once you're in top cut, like
They always have it like it's and no offense to like a judge, but like I always feel bad when you're like I gotta go to the bathroom and like the judge has to like follow you and wait outside the door like.
no, the judge didn't even wait outside the door. Like I walked in, I went to the urinal. When
They
I
come
did,
with
and
you
he
now.
literally walked in and like stands behind me, like not like really close, but he's standing there. I'm like, this is so awkward.
Yeah, you need. Do you want to hold it for me? Like, oh man.
Oh man, it's like I think it's really cool that they have that now, but like they already have your deck. Like you can't really
Yeah.
cheat.
No, I agree. Like there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah,
I mean maybe you're afraid of getting jumped or something. I don't know.
They even let like people talk to you like from across the room, so it's not like a point of like, oh, I better make. He's not slipping him a Bandit Keith card up his sleeve or
Well,
something.
I mean, the only reason I could see them doing it is like they're worried about you like getting information about your opponent's deck or something like that. But if they're already allowing you to talk to people in between rounds, like it kind of defeats the purpose, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and you could even like get up and watch other people's games after you finish yours. Like, there's nothing really to hide.
Yeah, it's just one of the more interesting things that you kind of get when you top. So it's definitely interesting. But always remember, Billy Brake is one of the best duelers ever.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so let's kind of start wrapping this up.
I'm not done here. I'm having a
all
good
right,
time.
all
here.
right, Robbie. I'll
I'm having
give
a
it
good
to
time
you.
as well.
Hey, Marcus. So what's next on your list? You're a YCS champion. Are you going for Worlds?
That's always been the goal. Honestly, since 2015, when I was in top 16, I thought that was going to be the year. I thought I was going to Worlds. I thought I even had the game won against Matt Kalinda, but time had come up and he won in time. So that was a little bit crushing. But after this YCS, I plan on going to Cali. I'm most likely going to Cali. Gonna attempt the back-to-back, pull off what few people have done. Actually, one of those people are in your room, John. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Worlds is definitely always the goal. I feel like after, getting that far in a YCS, that's probably a lot of people's goals. So.
America's got to win something eventually, right? We don't need Canada.
Hopefully.
We don't need Canada. I don't know. I don't have much else to ask you. I mean, I think this has been very insightful having you here tonight. Is there anything you want to add, Marcus?
I don't know, man. Just goal right now, honestly, is trying to get sponsored.
Is there anything that you want to say to our viewers out there? Any advice?
Any advice with like Yu-Gi-Oh or just in general?
Let's say there's a player that's only topped regionals and they're trying to make the next step like you did. What advice would you give them to hit that next level?
You gotta like learn from people who are better than you. Obviously, that's been stated multiple times throughout this.
Take that Dark Magician out of your deck unless you're playing Dark Magicians.
Yeah, and you gotta extensively test. Like I know that sounds like BS because if someone's good enough, like they probably don't even have to. If they're just that intelligent and have been playing the game that long, they probably don't have to. But for someone who's only topped at the regional level, you have to put in a lot of work, especially with DN gone now. Like I can't stress enough how much that benefited me, because I was versing people who I could tell they hadn't seen certain interactions that I had seen multiple times just because I'd been testing so much. And when they come up,
Theory only gets you so far in this game, though.
oh, definitely, definitely.
How much time do you actually spend testing? I think it's probably a better question.
For YCS Mini, I'd say the whole month prior, I was meeting up 3 to 4 times a week with my friends. And then maybe about once a week, we'd get in a Skype call and do some discussion. I would still play Dev Pro and YGO Pro in my free time at home, so quite a lot actually. Like Frazier, when we got to the event, told me he had done almost nothing. He threw together a 50 some odd card Magispector Metal Foe deck. He wasn't sure how good it was. So how he topped, like that's one of the examples I was saying, like just by theory and how good of a player he is, he was able to accomplish topping that event. But yeah.
It's important, or it's definitely interesting the fact that you bring up locals is like important, because meeting up with friends, you know.
Well, like now more than ever, especially if you have other good players at your local. Like I'm fortunate enough to have a very talented test group in terms of card players, but you need to form a test group. In my personal opinion, maybe I'm wrong. But in my personal opinion, I think you need to, especially with DN down, because you don't get the same interactions on Dev Pro that you would with DN. And in order to test real life scenarios more often, you physically have to play this game.
That's true. Paper, did you ever find any struggles like needing that one-off random card?
One-off random card? Yeah, actually prior to the event, I was playing main decking 2 strikes, because how insane it was in the mirror for Metaphos, and like, of course, it's just like generally a good card. But right before the event, I threw in the third painful and the extra rabbit. I think that's why my card sleeves are like slightly less dirty or whatever. That's what I explained to them too. They're still in the same hypermat sleeves, but yeah. And yeah, right before the event, I did that, and it definitely made sense, because like Rabbit, on top of netting advantage with your hand, it was also a 1 card out to anti-spell, and also just any floodgate that I couldn't deal with other than like Vanity's Emptiness or Vanity's Fiend. It could out just because it was instant Castell or instant Breaksword, which was really cool. And then I felt like 15 was the perfect number of Metaphos, at least for that event, with the cards I was playing. So I played the third Painful, even though drawing multiple sucked. I'd rather see one than none. So yeah.
Pre-invasion, post ABC, is there anything you would change?
I think the Brilliant Fusion build's probably the best build for ABC at the moment. I hadn't played that build, but in testing, it makes ABC far more consistently than any other build I've tested. And ABC is by far the best deck right now until Invasion.
You going back to Metal Foes when Invasion
I don't
comes
know.
out?
I don't know. There's some cool interactions, and I've got some really interesting ideas that I'm gonna keep to myself. But yeah, but yeah, maybe I might stick with ABC. I might do Metaphos. Just depends what I think's the best deck.
All right. Well, I don't have any further questions. John, anything?
I think that wraps it up from me as well. It was really nice to hear from you. I think you're really humble while at the same time hungry to do better, so that's a unique combination you don't see in a lot of duelists, and I actually really appreciate and like that.
I appreciate it, man.
Any final shout-outs, Marcus?
As always, shout out to my test group, Ice Cream Chat, Cancer Chat. Shout out, yeah, that's a different one. Shout out to Frazier. We text and talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Every day the past few days. Shout out to Top Cut. Shout out to Gaming Goat Juliet, and that's about it.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for being here, Marcus.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. If you top another one of these, we'll have you back. Talk more Yu-Gi-Oh!
I hope I will.
All right,
man,
thanks, man.
All right, see you later, guys.